Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda. If this is your first time here, welcome to my beauty entertainment channel. Absolutely. So if you would like to follow me on social media, here's my Twitter and my Instagram. Go have fun, enjoy yourself on there. And while you're here, you can check out some of my recent videos. Before this, I did a live stream about like pre-med college MCAT med school application stuff. That was just before this. And then before that, I posted a video ranking the songs on Beyonce's self-titled album. And then before that, I posted a video sharing my thoughts on Doja Cat's new album, Planet Her, out everywhere. So yeah, that's what I've done before this. So before I get into today's video, let me just put my phone away. Before today's video is sponsored. Today's video is sponsored once again by NordVPN. Thank you so much to NordVPN for sponsoring today's video. So the way I describe a VPN, like I have, you're on incognito mode, but your entire computer's on incognito mode, so it's not just your browser. So you can take your computer and put it incognito mode, and then put it into a different country, and then put it into a whole different country, and then switch to a different country anytime you want, right? So you can do that. What I use it for, and what most people use it for, is for streaming services. Streaming services do change. The content you do change gets changed by whatever country you are in. So if you have a Netflix account, if you have a Hulu account, if you have whatever, HBO Max as well, and the content changes by country, you can use a VPN to make the most out of your subscription services. So you know how Netflix Canada has a lot of the shows that American Hulu has on, like with ads. Ugh. So like Modern Family, Scream Queens, The Fosters, the Hunger Games movies, stuff like that. And you can also, if a show you're watching on streaming platforms, for example, HBO Max releases on HBO Max at a certain time, but they release earlier in a different country, you can watch things like the new Gossip Girl reboot before 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time if you like put your VPN to Brazil. So those are all about VPNs and what I use my VPNs for. So NordVPN has super fast servers. You can have up to six simultaneous connections at once. So I have it on my phone, my iPad, and my computer. There's double data encryption for increased anonymity, so nobody knows what you're doing. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee, and it protects your data while you're traveling, in case you know, Mr. Worldwide, you want to get around the place, etc. There's also a cybersecurity suite, which adds as an ad blocker, so none of that annoying bullshit again. And there's 24/7 customer support, so in case you don't know what you're doing, you could ask somebody. Super, super fun. So if you would like to try NordVPN and get a 73% off a 2-year membership plus 4 months free discount, you can click the link in my description box. It's the first one there. Or you can use the code AMANDAB for NordVPN. So yeah, thank you so much again to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. If you would like to check them out, click the first link in the description box and it'll take you there. Okay, perfect. Fun, I'm putting on makeup again. Let's see. So that's out of the way. So what we're going to be talking about today, we're going to be talking about another television show. I'm very excited because I haven't watched new TV in a while because I didn't want to, but I decided to watch the show because I saw a bunch of my mutuals talking about it and they usually have good taste. So I was like, let's see what's going on with Generation. That's the show that we're talking about today. So Generation is a new show on HBO Max. The entire first season is available to stream now on HBO Max. There's 16 episodes. They're like 30 minutes, 37 minutes each. They're short. They're shorter than the average length, which I'm going to talk about. I really, really like that part. And it's like a dramedy. It follows a group of high schoolers in like a relatively conservative town, and they're all like talking about their sexuality and like all things like that at their high school. It's an ensemble cast, and every cast member gets to tell like their story. It's a big cast, so if you like teen dramas like that, I would recommend it. So I'm gonna share, what am I looking for? Okay. So I'm going to share my thoughts about characters and then the overall show at the end, and like themes and stuff, and like what I liked and didn't like and stuff like that. All right, so we are first going to start off with the adults. Boo. Common theme. Why do you hate your kids? Common theme. Maybe don't have kids. Next theme. Listen. Whatever. So the first two adults that we're going to talk about are Nathan and Naomi's parents, Morgan and Mark. Yeah. I'm gonna speak on Morgan first because I feel like I have a duty to do so. Why you choose to live your own life like that? Because I know she has high blood pressure. I know she has high blood pressure. I know she has like issues related to this constant stress she keeps causing herself. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you because you do this to yourself. It doesn't have to be like, you know, you don't have to be like that. You don't have to be like that. You know that, right? You don't have to be so. What's up? Serious control issues. Severe, serious control issues. And her husband is supposed to be like good or whatever. And he is sometimes, but he sometimes would intervene, sometimes wouldn't intervene when his wife is like spewing all this homophobic shit. And I'm like, if you don't agree with her, like say something. Don't just stand there and like roll your eyes. And he did sometimes. So I'll give him that. But it was a little weird, especially considering who like your best friends are, your like daughter's friends' gay dads. But that's on brand for white people. So control issues, I'm gonna talk about them more when I talk to their kids because I feel like I can't discuss Morgan and her just absolutely. I have to talk about her kids because it's just so representative in the way Nathan and Naomi act. I'll talk about them in a second. All right, so the next adults that I want to talk about are Ariana's dads. I went through I was like, do I like them? Do I dislike them? Now that the show is over, I'm now back to being like, okay, I mean, compared to the other parental figures on the show, they're probably in the better half, but I don't really like comparing people to pieces of shit. That's what Morgan is, so I don't want to do that, right? It's just the part where I was like, your daughter feels alone in your house, and they were like, this is funny. And I'm like, no, it's not. And as someone who has like a dad who likes to joke a lot, like sometimes I'm being serious. I could understand her frustration. Like sometimes we're being serious. It's not everyday joke, hardy car, har har. Can't live like that. Can't live like that. Sometimes we're being dead serious. So I really appreciated that. Like she was definitely lashing out about the wrong pads, but also who buys light pads. She was definitely lashing out about the pads, but she was lashing out for a reason. She was lashing out. What was she lashing out about? And they messed, it was tampons, it wasn't pads. Even though they messed up with that and made it like jokey, they were able to connect with her in that same episode. So it didn't take like days for them to realize where they might have potentially gone wrong or not coming from a fully empathetic point of view. Like if someone's lashing out, there's a reason why they're doing that. She's not just, you know, I'll talk about Ariana like later, but like she was like, and then she toned down in the second half. Because of that, they've raised a girl who's very sure of herself and able to recognize when she's being mistreated. So for that, I would give her dads like a lot, because Ariana recognized that she was being mistreated. And that's something I personally appreciated. I didn't want to see her suffer. I didn't want to see her suffer at the hands of a white woman. Okay, so that's Ariana's dads. Next, I'm saving Riley's parents when I talk about Riley. So next, I want to talk about Anna. Anna. The only bitch in the house I ever respected. The only person that I have ever respected in my entire life. I mean, it's not really a fair fight because the other adults in this show keep failing their kids like they're trying to win a competition. So not really hard for her to win that. I personally appreciate how she pushes Greta to do things she doesn't want to, because I think we all need someone like that in our lives. Sorry, as someone who used to be, I would say, more like a Greta, you need someone like that. The reason why I appreciate her as a character, she's able to know when Greta like can be pushed and when she can't be pushed. She wasn't when you usually take characters that want to help someone break out of their shell or someone come into themselves, they usually do it from some sort of self-serving purpose, and they put in their own insecurities and their own like problems into this other person. Anna didn't do that. She wasn't constantly like violating Greta's boundaries to fit her own agenda. See Megan. She didn't like manipulate Greta and Riley to like do what she wanted, even though she did say that Riley's who she wishes she was in high school. Usually that, especially like in a lot of like, oh, that didn't work. She wishes Riley who she was in high school, and she still didn't like insert herself into their like situation. She kept Greta safe, she kept Riley safe, even though that Riley got angry at her for like not lying for her. That was to keep you safe, right? So she could have done the whole like living vicariously through these teenagers like we see a lot of adults in teen dramas do, but she didn't. And I'm so grateful, especially for Greta, to have somebody like that in her life, because oof. And especially Riley, there needs to be an adult in your life. Currently there are none. You have 2 overgrown toddlers in your life. And I'm gonna get to her mom and her dad in a second. Her mom, I just feel bad for her mom, but she really needs an adult in her life. So I'm hoping that Greta and Riley's relationship will grow and allow Riley to also use Anna as a parental figure, because right now she has literally 0. And it's very, very, very worrying to me as someone who wants to see her succeed, right? Okay. So those are my thoughts on Anna. Where's my foundation? Okay, that's what I was looking for. So the next adult I wanted to talk about is Sam, their teacher. Or he wasn't really in the second half of the show, like at all. But I mean, he was to like take care of Riley. I think Sam is a good teacher. I think he's an excellent teacher, actually. Or guidance count. Well, he's an excellent adult. Teachers, adults suck in teen dramas, and most of the time they're used to enact some sort of wickedly disturbing plot line that because we're like teenagers, you don't like, or like, 'cause I'm talking about Pretty Little Liars, you don't like understand is wrong. But even if you are a teenager, you understand that it's wrong. Like, hello now? That doesn't make much sense, right? But Sam was actually able to nip that in the bud. So I like Generation for how they didn't do, you know, the typical like teacher-student plot line, but they showed it, and showed it ending in a way that it's supposed to. No romanticizing, no like, none of that. Which is why it's like a show, if you're trying to make teens watch the show, you should not romanticize said teacher-student relationships. And Sam was able to create and not move the boundary, not even really alter, and not allow himself to get pushed, and not do it without being like a dick to Chester. Like, the last thing he said, he was like, it definitely isn't me. Did he need to say that? Probably not, but I think he did in order to really get it through Chester's mind, because I feel like if he would have said anything else, Chester would have been like, oh, there's hope. So he needed to like define boundary, and he was able to do so. And I know Chester was hurt, and he's still hurt now, but that was for the best. And if anyone else, if it was someone other than Sam handling a situation, think of how much worse that could have gone. So, you know, something bad happened, but I'm grateful that it happened in that way. That happened with a lot of things in Generation. I was sad that it happened, but I was happy that it happened in that way and to that person and over a different person. You know, I don't know if you know what I mean. I hope you know what I mean. So those are all the adults I want to talk about. There's more, but I'll talk about them when their kids come up, because it'll just be easier. I didn't blush my nose. Fun. All right, now we're getting into like the teenagers, right? First person we have up. I cannot sit like this. Okay. The first person we have up is Luz. Nothing but commotion. Nothing but commotion. Nothing but commotion and chaos. Nothing. Why do you act like that? Luce, please answer. Please answer. Because why? Why do you act like that? I mean, the whole thing with Riley of like, we think the same, like the whole thing, that whole like scene was like cute or whatever, but I'm personally, as I was watching that scene and I was like, okay, you guys think the same, I guess you're both assholes, is that what the bonding was over? All right. But as I was watching that happen, I was thinking in my head, I was like, so if you liked Riley this entire time, then why did you like talk to Greta? That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, what? And then I think like Riley, sister, someone being like, we are the same, we both do bad things. Yeah, not a good thing. Her being like, I realized we were the same after you like left Greta in the motel to come hook up with me. Yeah, not a good thing. I think Riley like got that because she was like, so we're making improvements, slow but steady wins the race. But yeah, no, I don't know. But every time Luce was there, constant chaos, literally constant chaos every single time, except when she was in Greta's home. That wasn't her fault that the chaos was there. Riley was there. That was the chaos. But that was so many that whole scene, there was simply too many variables in that room. How did you guys watch that scene and not like breathe hard the whole time? Like, how were you not? That's what I was the whole time, because there's too many variables in that room. Her mother was back, Luce and Riley. That's a lot. That's a lot. That was a lot for me personally. Those are my thoughts on her. Okay, that's enough powder. Next person I want to talk about is Cooper. I think Cooper is very, very sweet. I do think, oop, there's powder everywhere. I think Cooper is very sweet. I think Cooper is very cute. I think Cooper is sweet. Not to applaud a fish for swimming, but he's a good person for telling Delilah that he knows. No one else in the show seemed to understand why. Like, I don't know, the fact that he was the only person who like got a secret and immediately wanted to tell the person that he now knows their secret. He was the only person who did that. Kind of interesting. Kind of really interesting. My brother licking toilet seats. I forgot about that. Not gonna lie, until right now. I think I blocked it out. So every man has his faults. If he turned into if this gets like a season 2 or 3 or whatever, and he turns into a bad person, that was the first red flag. But I hope that doesn't happen. I hope, please don't, please, one good man. Actually, there are 2 good men in the show. Next person I want to talk about is Jay, another good man. So there's 2 good men in the show. Everyone else will, your own personal, you know, things. But I like Cooper and I like Jay. I think they're funny. I think every time they were on the screen, they like added Cooper and their little throuple. I'll talk about that when I get to Naomi and when I get to Naomi. Delilah is my bitch, so, but I'll talk about that then as well. 2 good men. I'm not talking about Delilah right now. The next character I'm discussing is my girl, Delilah. So I love Delilah. I think she is a very, very cool. Can we give it up for Delilah, please? Can we give it up for Delilah? I think she's funny. I think she's strange in the like best way possible, because sometimes, okay, listen, the social justice warrior of the group, and here's the thing, she could be nauseating. The actress, I love the actress who plays Delilah, could play Delilah nauseating, could make her condescending every time she talks, but that's not who Delilah is, and that's my sister. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Giving birth in a mall bathroom. For the entire first half of the show, they kept like, obviously they did it for the entire first half of the show, but for the first couple episodes, I'm like, can we get back to the baby? We keep skipping past the baby. Can you tell me what happened to the baby? And let's discuss how Delilah was having a baby in a kiddie pool in a mall bathroom. Supplies and a kiddie pool and a shopping cart were brought into the mall bathroom. And everyone else was just like, yeah, those screams we hear, we're definitely like just going to ignore them. We're definitely gonna hear the screams of teenage girls inside a mall bathroom and ignore them. Like, I thought this was in Anaheim. That makes sense in New York. Anaheim, I don't know what Anaheim's like. I've never been there though. They're racist in Anaheim, so. So that was just confusing to me. I thought it was really funny, the whole bathroom. It was obviously very, very traumatic, but that whole night they stayed awake, I really liked that episode, and I really liked, because I'm watching Degrassi, so I'm on like season 11. In teen dramas, when I do teen pregnancy, at least the ones that I've seen, it's not usually done or handled with, I don't like the care or the honesty that was shown in that scene, at least from what I've watched. Versus me personally, not handled with the same kind of care, the same sort of gritty realness and the honesty of it. Like, showed Delilah having problems with it, showed her having to struggle with it, and didn't like exploit that, didn't like make it seem like she was overreacting, underreacting, didn't try to impose like a moral onto her, just let her exist and let this just happen to her. I like that. I really like the way the show handled like it's like hard topics or like the special topics. I enjoyed that. Okay, what was my next step? Spray. So then her and Cooper I think are super cute. Exactly. Sorry, Naomi. Sorry. I don't know what you want me to tell you. I don't really know what you want me to tell you. I have nothing for you, Naomi. I have nothing for you. Not me, not Cooper, not Delilah either. So, Delilah apologized for abandoning Ariana. I was a little bit peeved at her for that because Ariana is also my sister, and yeah, so I was like, that was rude. But Delilah actually felt bad for it. Delilah actually gave somewhat of a sincere apology and didn't just look like she was throwing it off and just saying it because you got mad. So that is why. Next character, speaking of the throuple, next character is Naomi. Nope. I knew it. One of my first tweets in my live tweet thread was the girl with the bangs. Giveaway, trust your gut, right? Right. Trust your gut forever and always. It's that Naomi in the first half of the show. I was very indifferent towards her. I knew because of the bangs that I hadn't seen the half of her crazy, and I knew it was going to happen. But for pretty much the first half of the show, I was like, Naomi's like, okay, I understood why she was a little bit gagging at Ariana and Nathan. I'm sorry, I was gagged as well, talking about petting his wet dog hair. Ariana, what was that? What I don't know what that was, but I am so glad that that's over. Oh my goodness, great. I was shaking and crying at the thought of that. So I like was like, okay, I like feel bad for her or whatever, right? I was like, I feel bad for her friend or whatever. Then you go and do the same thing to her, but it doesn't really make any sense, right? It's not just that she told Chester what happened to Delilah, because I guess you can because she was under drugs. It's not just that she told him, it's not that she told him when Delilah didn't want him to know. It's that she didn't feel bad about it. It's that she didn't feel bad about it and she didn't tell Delilah immediately. Me personally, I'm not Delilah. Me personally, like, she was on drugs. She was on some drugs. So I like her telling Cooper, I don't know why in your head that's the first secret you went to, but you know, whatever. That could at least, in my opinion, be forgiven. You were on drugs. You not feeling bad or like basically trying to divert blame the entire time once you told him, and then you not telling Delilah immediately. Yeah, that's where I had to be. Naomi, no. You are not correct here. You are nowhere near correct here. She is also just a terrible friend. As a bad friend. She is just as destructive as Nathan. But Nathan at least regrets his action and Nathan feels too much though. Nathan's always in pain. He like feels bad about things and feels bad forever for the entire season. Naomi literally didn't really care that she violated a boundary that Delilah wanted to set in their throuple. The scene that like Nathan always felt terrible. Like he's always like looked sick this whole entire season. But like he especially felt terrible in the first half because he fucked your man. Like he felt bad. He felt bad. That scene where that boy sent them the same text at the same time, I screamed. That, wow, yeah. That was horrible. But do you see how Nathan like was like kicking himself over that for like ever? Not forever. He got over it relatively quickly. But Naomi doesn't feel the same way. You should have told Delilah. You should have just told Delilah, and then you could have been a part of their little moment burying the placenta. But you wanted to be an asshole. You wanted to be an asshole, Naomi, and now you have no friend. I mean, it's just like one fight, we'll see, but I'm sorry. That kind of violation, I don't know if you'd be welcome back. No. You didn't even really feel bad at all for ditching Ariana when you did promise and you did a whole bunch of like magic together, and I thought you guys took that super seriously. It's a little fake, I'm not gonna lie. You guys took that really, and then just a man came and you said, nope, never mind. And you didn't apologize for that. You barely apologized for telling Delilah's secret. Like what am I supposed to? And I didn't have an issue with you. I had my guard up because of the bangs. I had no real issue. Then it came out because a man got involved. Naomi, seriously? Like, can you think, okay, maybe I would forgive telling the secret under the influence of the heavy narcotics. To not feel bad about it and then to not tell Delilah immediately, you're joking. You're literally joking with me. You're playing fibs with me. You're playing, no, my answer is no to Naomi. My answer is absolutely not. I don't really know what you're gonna do with yourself after this. Your family life is currently in shambles, and I am so sorry. Because you see, look at how their parents, that Nathan is constantly in pain. There's never not a scene where Nathan doesn't look like he's about to burst into tears because he is so afraid all the time because of his own family and his sister. His sister though, she got it together in terms of like their brother such a relationship. She got it together because at the end of the day she realized that his safety was more important than her like feelings about what happened with the man. So she stood up to their mom, but I'm like, I can't, you get a point for that, but you're docked a lot of points in this other category, ma'am. Right? Okay. So that's my thoughts on Naomi. Next person I want to talk about is Nathan. Just wait. You know when a character like never lives up to your like you have really, this boy's a walking disaster. It's not even his fault that he's a walking disaster. Like it's giving nuclear being around him, honestly. I don't know how anyone just does this. It's a walking mess. He's a walking mess. It's not his fault, which is why I feel bad like yelling at him, because Nathan looks like a puppy who got stuck out in the rain constantly, 24/7. I don't even know how the actor had that fear, that face of fear the entire time. That face of fear was brilliant. constant state of panic, constant all the time, and we turn to whose fault is it? The parents. Your son jumps off, were they on a boat into the ocean in episode 1? Or 2, or what, early. Not a good home life. Mom, now knowing that it was that they were fake dating, I feel terrible, because it's gonna be even harder for him now because to do anything, because his mother is such an asshole. He's allowed to be mad. He should be mad at Riley for telling his mother. His mother would have found out regardless. He should be mad at her for not telling him right after, in my personal opinion. I have no idea how this household is going to function. We ended the season off of the dad telling the mom, I want to take a break. So she's not Megan is off her rocker right now. Naomi has no more friends because you wanted to act foolish. You wanted to act foolish, so you have no more friends. Nathan, I feel bad because what he had to do with Chester in that he made the right decision. Nathan made the right decision. He protected his feelings, because if it would have been so much worse if that happened. The show ended horribly for Nathan and for Chester, but I need to imagine if they had gone through with that. I don't even know where to begin. So even though it ended terribly, I think we can grow from this point. I don't know if we would have been able to grow if that would have happened. From either person, Nathan or Chester. I don't know, right? Ow, did I just scratch myself? Ow. Oops. So there's that. Sister, I'm worried that they're gonna take it out on each other, all these problems, and they really need each other in that crazy ass house. They can't get through their parents now. It's gonna be arguments every day about that break. They can't get through that, each of them by themselves. It's not gonna be possible. So I hope that this brings them closer. But Nathan's not one of I have my favorite characters, and I think you can tell by how I talk about them, you know which ones are my favorite characters. But it's just, Nathan is I feel just terrible, because it doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way. Nathan doesn't have to live his life in a state of panic and fear. If his parents, mom, it doesn't have to be this way. But it is, and it makes me really, really sad, because I'm like, he makes me sad. Every time I saw him on the screen and he would do something stupid, I would yell at him, sitting in my bed, and then I'd be like, don't yell at him. Because, God, imagine growing up in that household. Death. But Nathan is a destructive mess, just like his sister. Nathan at least feels bad about it. He at least feels bad about it. But, yeah. He was setting himself up with the fake dating because he knew he was in love with Chester. Chester did agree with it though, knowing that Nathan was in love with him. I'll talk about Chester later. Those are my thoughts on Nathan. I have favorite characters. He's not one of them, but I don't dislike him because I would feel bad if I did, because it's not his fault, you know? Whatever. Me, I need him. I don't know. I need a season 2. Next person I want to talk about. Next character is Ariana. I love her. I love Ariana. Yes. Not even, sometimes it's not mean. Sometimes it's just crass. Kind of refreshing. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. The lockdown scene where she's fake crying on the phone to her dad, I don't know if that can be topped. That is comedy. Do you know that was so, am I terrible? No, I'm not a terrible person. That was so funny. That was amazing. That scene was amazing. That was amazing. Was it terrible? Yes. But it was Ariana walks the line between absolutely I wouldn't call her cruel. Just she teeters that line. And it's, offensive. But in the second half of the show, her character becomes fully Well, because I saw a black girl, I was like, I want to like her. They started saying some crazy stuff, and I was like, girl, we're gonna fix this, right? And then she does fix it. She doesn't say that crazy stuff anymore. But in the second half of the show, we can like see her develop as a person and not just as like in the back. So I like that. I think I like her. She tells it like it is. Now, the reason why we don't address the first half of the show, Ariana, first half of the show, when she was with Nathan. Guys, we don't need to talk about that. We don't need to talk about that. She was in a haze. We don't really need to discuss that time period. That's not who my sister is now. That's not who she is now. Let's get that clear. That was the past. We are in the present. That is not who she is anymore. That is a remnant of a past life, and we should ignore it. We should ignore it. Okay? It never happened. That plot line never happened. Not in my head, not in my head, not in my head. Naomi is a bad friend, and she will be a bad friend to you. Like, if they accept her back, like if they become friends again, she'll show her ass again, I believe, because that was really easy for her to do, was to ditch for a man. Because until she recognizes that because her apology to Ariana was not sincere. The apology for ditching her to be with Cooper was not sincere. And then you add in like, from Ariana's perspective, like, she dropped Naomi as a friend because of, like, she ditched her for Cooper, but also doing what she did to Delilah. Sharing her secret, you were under drugs, whatever. Not feeling bad about it and not telling her about it, and then being like, no one else tell her, because how are you gonna be like, she told, like, you can't do that. You have to wait for her to tell her. Now you put everyone in a bad spot. And now people are talking about Delilah, and Delilah doesn't know she's being talked about. Like, bad. You now put everyone in a bad position because you wanted to open your mouth. That's a secret you wanted to share? Really? I don't know. Ariana really, I believe, could have been a whole lot more mad about what happened, but she kept it classy when she didn't even have to. And she knew. She said, should I confront them? Yes, you should, boo. Yes, you should. And she did, because she realized, that's why I appreciate her dad, because she could have had other parents on the show, have her allowing herself to be talked to all types of crazy and mistreated. No, she said, I'm being mistreated. I need to share my feelings. Bottling them up does not work. And she did. And now she's friends with Delilah and Delilah only. All has worked out. Naomi, let's work on yourself. Then we can try again. I'm still worried though, because that was really quick. Even with Delilah too, that was really quick, the abandoning. But Delilah had, when she apologized, there was something behind there. Naomi, I'm like, have you ever apologized to anybody before? Because it also seemed like you were in a rush. What's going on? Right? Like, how you have a whole sister moment like that and then it's gone. A man comes and it's gone. And then you don't even feel bad about it. Little weird. Not gonna lie. I love Ariana. I think she's funny. I think in the second half, you know, she is a much better person in every way and is an interesting character. I like what she adds to the show. I like how she has her own plot line and she moves the plot. Wish we could do a little bit more, because of the ones that were in the show involved her getting hurt, but all of their plot lines involved them getting hurt. And they're all supposed to be kind of just like messy, like all over the place teenagers, because that's what the show is. And I really enjoy it. It's refreshing. Next character is Riley. Another favorite character of mine. I love her, but it's a lot. Riley's a lot. And it's not her fault. The motel with Liz, that was a mistake. And she knows that. So back off. Screaming at Greta and Anna because they didn't want to lie and get themselves caught up in a kidnapping charge. Yeah, that was a mistake as well. Telling Nathan's whack ass mother, that was a mistake. Listen, I'm not denying that. Those were mistakes. But let's look at the way the adults in her life have failed her at nearly every step. Her father is a creep. Not only is her father a creep and an asshole, like, you showing up to, it's like I don't know what that party was called, but pre-Valentine's Day. I'm gonna call it pre-prom for sure. It was not prom, but I don't feel like saying pre-Valentine's Day party 10 times. Showing up to a pre-prom with you just like separated from your mother with a new person is weird. That's weird. Just showing up out of the blue with a new person, that's weird. Your 19-year-old girlfriend, conversation about how you dating a 19-year-old is a different one, showing up to her pre-prom, out, no call, no text, that is so disrespectful. And that is why when Riley just spiraled out, I said, listen, cause what can you do? I want you to explain to me, what can she do to feel control in her life besides what she currently does, which is just causing destruction to herself? How else can she feel control in her life? Because, so think of how many layers are wrong with her father. And then her mother, like when Riley was talking about like how she couldn't imagine being her mother and her mother heard, that's exactly how I felt. How is her mother supposed to handle that situation? How? Literally, I don't even know. I don't know what to say to her mother. But neither the mother nor the father ever considered that this situation could also be detrimentally affecting their child. They kind of just ignored that. Like her mother built, you know, her little like inner child room, I guess taking away Riley's studio. You don't think your child also needs to work through this very traumatic event? Like, I don't know. We all know you have issues, dad has issues, but you also have a kid. Neither one of them ever made it clear to me as a viewer that they even considered what this situation was doing to their child. I didn't get that from either of the two of them, that they even like thought about what it might be doing to Riley. So the adults in her life are failing her consistently. Like, Riley's going off the walls right now. Now she has Greta, and hopefully then will come with Anna. But that's on a tightrope right now. Anything could knock that over. Any variable can knock that over. Is it gonna be Greta's mom? Is it gonna be Luce? Is it gonna be Riley's parents? Who knows what they're gonna do? Now you wanna move her to where? Somewhere in Nevada? What? Have her leave all her friends that she's barely clinging on to? Girl, that's why it's just, I can't, like, this destructive stuff that she does, terrible. But like, God, look at the home life. Look at the home life. I don't know. That, like, the episode, I think it was one episode or two episodes that was like detailing her whole home life. I said, it's literally so much worse than you think it is. So much worse. So much worse. My God. Next character is Greta. My sister. I think Greta is so sweet. I think Greta is very sweet. I love Greta because she reminds me of me. I think all Greta had to do was say what was on her mind, but she couldn't. But by the end of the season, she could. And I'm so proud of her for that. And I liked how they showed her, that was her character development. It took her a while to get there, but she got there. So her mother coming back, when her mother came back, she showed, you know, some of her controlling acts, but I guess they're saving, if there is a season 2, I don't really know if there is. I guess they're saving, sharing more about how her home life has changed with her mother coming home for that, because in the second half of the show, like, most of the scenes were like set not in her house anymore. So like, what I did see from her mom, I side-eyed, and I'm gonna have to side-eye more once they keep telling us. I like Greta. I think she's so sweet. I think that it just took her. I'm glad Anna, like I talked about this when I was talking about Anna, she didn't push her too hard, because Greta needed to be able to have that conversation with Riley on her own time and not to be forced into it. And everyone was trying to force her in to that conversation, and realizing that. She needed to realize that on her own. She needed to realize what she said to Riley at the end on her own. And so I'm glad that she was able to take her time, and she didn't feel like pressured into it or rushed into it. Even though I think it came out because of those truth chocolates or whatever, I'm glad it happened. when she was kind of dating Luz, I guess, I don't know. Luz at least wasn't an asshole when she came to her house though. Basic respect. But yeah, your aunt calling this girl an asshole, like not even using her name, just calling her an asshole the entire time. Red flag, potentially, you know, and they still, I watched that last episode correctly, they still don't know that there is a love triangle there. Red still doesn't know that Riley and Luz hooked up. Right? Yeah. So we'll see in season 2. So those are my thoughts on Greta. One of my favorite characters. Next character. Okay, we're at the last 2. Next character is Bo. I get where he's coming from. I'm talking about him, like I'm just talking about him and Chester's relationship because we don't really know much about Bo as a person. I get where he's coming from, and he has reasons to break up with Chester, lots of reasons. But the final reason that he gave, like the reason that he gave, why date a bad bitch if you can't handle one? Like, just say the fake dating and the lying about it was ridiculous. Just say that. Why date a bad bitch if you can't handle one? I never got that. I've never understood that. The fake dating and the lying about it was ridiculous. Say that. Just say that. Because the way, to me personally, the way Chester handled the fake dating situation and explaining it, he didn't do it very well, in my opinion. He should have told Bo. Like, he should have told Bo, but he didn't. Let's move past that. Should he have told Bo? Yes, but he didn't. Let's move on. My problem was when he was telling him about it, he kept like stressing the fact that it happened on the night of their terrible first date, and then it happened because their first date was so bad. And I'm like, that's not a good, why do you keep telling Bo that? Like, I was like, why do you keep stressing that? That doesn't make any sense. And Chester seemed to be insinuating that Bo was overreacting, which he later confirmed in a rage in the last episode, in the finale. And I was like, let him have a reaction to this, because it's weird. It's weird, especially because Nathan just asked you to do it again because his mother is here. He's allowed to have a reaction to that. And he asked, like, or Nathan said in some way that Chester knew that Nathan was in love with him. And he said that he knows that. And Bo was like, wow, like in a bad way. And I was like, wow, and I'm bad. So you know that, and you still did it. That doesn't make you look better. I think what Chester was doing is he was trying to explain himself so much, and he just made it so much worse. Every reasoning he gave was terrible. And I'm like, I don't know if that's your actual reasoning, but if that is, don't share that again. Like, he was trying so hard to, because he saw it in his eyes. He saw everything falling apart, and he was trying to pick up the pieces super fast, and he was just saying anything. Chester was just saying anything, and none of it made much sense, and none of it was good. And I was like, oh, this conversation is terrible. That conversation was terrible. Their conversation at the drag show, that was terrible. That was stressing me out, like tenfold. Okay, last character is Chester. I think Chester is fabulous, honestly, truly. Very chaotic. I kind of love it though. I think chaos is kind of fun. First, the teacher, we didn't need that, but with the pattern of teen shows and those relationships, we needed one that was ended in a appropriate way. So okay, then like this relationship track record in just 16 episodes, horrifying. Then Bo, who ended things so, I'm sorry, it was weird. It was weird. Like, yes, you had lots of reasons to break up with Chester, but using the reason of like you're too amazing for me, I don't get that. But then when Bo was like, I don't know if you like dating me or if you like the idea of just dating a person, and I was like, okay, that's a question Chester should ask himself, but everything you just said before is gonna make him not listen to you. So we knew that conversation was going nowhere. We knew that conversation was going nowhere because Chester already was like in his own head saying everything wrong with himself, probably in his head, which is absolutely terrible. Then then at the party, he gets, first of all, Bo, he walked into that party thinking it was gonna be the best time of his life. That made me really sad. Then he tries to kiss Nathan, and then Nathan rejects him. I didn't want them fake dating in the first place because Nathan was in love with Chester. Once Chester got in the shower like that in the finale, I was like, no, please, 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 no. And then when he actually started moving, I said, no. It could have ended so much worse if that had happened. I'm glad Nathan didn't at the end of the day, because the result, if that had continued, would have been the worst available option. Would have been the worst available option. Please, not those two. The absolute destruction that would have happened, no. So it was nightmare after nightmare after nightmare, and it was like Chester can never win. Chester can never ever win. Because every time things look up, nope, nip in the bud immediately. Chester had some of the most horrible dates I have ever seen in my life on television. That roller rink, everyone throwing up on him, that was one of the worst things I have ever seen in my entire life. Oh my goodness. That was horrifying. And then the next big event you go to is the Valentine's Day party, and it's absolutely awful. He walks in with his boyfriend all gleeful, and it's just, and then it just ends. Oh, it was terrible. So Chester, I don't really know, like, I like Chester. I don't know what to say to him. What can you say? What can you say? I'm sorry that it seems like everything is against, like the world is against you, because basically that's what happens. It must feel like the world is against him. So, absolutely chaotic. So those are my thoughts on each of the individual characters. So the show, just in general, I really liked how they did the whole like showing the same events from different perspectives. I like that shit. I think it's really, really interesting, especially because I don't like, from one point of view, I don't like narration from one point of view. It kind of bores me. So I really like that. The two things about the show that I really like the most, the short episodes. Bring back 30-minute dramas. Everyone wants the 45-minute or 52-minute ass slot. Kick it, stop. You guys don't have enough material to stretch out an episode for that long. The episode gets boring. This show, the pacing of the show, the first half is weird. The first half pacing, or the first like 5 episodes pacing, you have to get like kind of used to it, actually. I'm not gonna lie, you have to get kind of used to it. But once you do, once they go to San Francisco, the show picks up like a lot, and it keeps on picking up until the last episode, which is just a nightmare. From 0 to the very end, it's just a complete and utter nightmare. So I really like the short episodes. I liked how it makes it easier to binge. I didn't binge it though. I watched like 3 episodes a day. I kind of stretched it out. It makes it easier to do that. It was really well paced for me personally. The actors, I think, are really good. There was no like tremendous like obvious weak link in the cast to me. I think everyone played their parts really, really well. I think, speaking of that, the writing, none of the dialogue in this show felt forced. And when you're watching a teen drama in 2021, that's one of the things you're worried about, is like slang, dialogue, all that seeming forced. I assume there was a young person working on this show, like someone my age, because everything flowed perfectly. The references to everything flowed. I was actually really shocked watching it, because I was like, they got this nearly perfect. None of it felt like I was watching like people write what they thought teenagers acted like. It feels like they went to the horse's mouth, or at least went to someone who was in that place only a couple of years ago. So they're not like born in 1992 trying to write teenagers. No. So I really appreciate that, you know? That was really like, yeah, I liked that. And none of the slang felt forward, none of the they said a Selling Sunset reference was fine, did Lowe's reference to music. Soundtrack, Rena, Comme des Garçons, yes. Yeah, I like that. The music in general, but the whole show was really, really well done. HBO does a really good job with soundtracks, in my opinion, so I wasn't really surprised by that. But overall, I like the show. I think it does take a bit of getting used to at first, especially because when you watch it, it starts out just about Chester. It's not, the show is not just about Chester. It's a true ensemble cast show. Everyone gets a point. Some do get less than others, of course. And give me a season 2. But it's a good show. I think it's good. I think once you get to that point, it goes really, really fast. I think it's really like, there's enough suspense and drama while it not being too heavy and being like just absolutely downright depressing. It does have, you know, its moments though, but then it has its joyous moments as well. Nothing about it feels forced. It feels like the characters are kind of like fleshed out. They're not just kind of like bullet points put onto a person. They feel like real people. They might even feel familiar to you if you went to a high school or college kind of like that. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I had a good time watching the show, and I was scared. Not gonna lie, I was scared because they were like teen drama, HBO, who loves to do incredibly dramatized. The show is like, I don't want to say the show is realistic. It's a television drama, so it's not if the show was realistic, it would be boring. But it is not like so overtly dramatized where it's just like ridiculous, you know? So it's realistic, but you know, it's still television. It's still dramatized to a point. But that's what I don't know how they were able to do this. These kids were doing absolutely craziness. Every episode they were doing absolute nonsense. But it never felt forced. It never felt like they were doing too much. It never felt like they were trying to write like people, like old people trying to write what they think teenagers are now, very dated, very confused, writing in very like, nobody talks like that. I never said that when watching this. I never did a nobody talk like that moment, which thank God, because I do for other shows. So those are my thoughts on Generation. Let me know what you guys think about this show, who your favorite, oh wait, my favorite characters. Whoa, here we go. Delilah, Ariana, I'm trying to figure out if I want to put this in order or not. It's not in order. Delilah, Ariana, Riley, Greta. I can't pick 3. Can't pick 3. You're gonna take all 4. You're gonna take all 4. Delilah, I need to see more of her. Ariana, need to see more of her. Riley, therapy. Real therapist, not another one of these also damaged kids acting as your therapist. Not that. Okay, so let me know what you guys think about this show, what your thoughts are. And yeah, if you'd like to follow me on social media, here's my Twitter and my Instagram. Go have fun, enjoy yourself on there. And while you're here, check out some of my recent videos, which will be on your screen right about now. And yeah, thank you guys so very much for watching. Thank you so much again to NordVPN for sponsoring today's video. Click the link in my description box to get to your membership with a 1-month discount, and a 2-month membership with a huge discount, and click the link in my description box to get that as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so very much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.